Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening if you're across the globe from me here in the United States in the Midwest. It's so lovely to see you guys trickling in. Looks like Diana Benson was just dead set on making it this week to the live bulletin. And I've made it tricky on you guys because I keep changing the schedule due to summer vacations and travels. So thank you for sticking with me and following along. Diana made it. We've got Robert, of course, early bird Robert. Aurinka, who is, I think, in Barcelona or in Spain right now, which is exciting. We have Karen, and we also have Carminia. It's so great to see your names and faces trickling in. Welcome to this week's Student Bulletin. So this week in class, a lot of our students were working through the watercolor rules course, and we saw so much amazing art as they explored not only watercolor, but different media that they combine with watercolor. We had a chat with Jennifer Orkin-Lewis, also known as August Wren, on Monday. We had a live Q&A with her, and it was really cool to hear more about her process and also her sort of career path as an illustrator and, a watercolor, full-time watercolor and gouache designer and artist. So that was a lot of fun, and students have been playing with different materials in their homework assignments. This is a lovely piece of art that Charmin shared where she combined, I believe she combined gouache and pen and ink, obviously, and some washes there in the background, which is just beautiful. Another student, Michelle, did this amazing watercolor painting of this juicy tomato that makes me hungry to look at. So this was a fantastic use of the medium of watercolor that Michelle was working with. And another student, Mike, actually went a little on the abstract end and did this kind of surrealist looking study of just a lot of shapes that he threw down with gouache and watercolor, just getting to know the medium and seeing sort of what emerged. So I like this sort of as like a trippy desert dreamscape, or maybe nightmare, depending on your perspective. So thanks for sharing that, Mike. It's really great to see that. And speaking of courses that students are working on together, if you've never taken a course together with a bunch of students at Sketchbook Skool, then I think it's safe to say that you have not gotten the real Sketchbook Skool experience. And I just want to remind everyone that while we have students working on watercolor rules right now, we're going to be launching another cohort, which is what we're calling it when students rally together to work on a course together, next week for the urban sketching course. Now, this course will take us through the month of August, but since so many students are focusing on urban sketching right now, as they travel, as some of them go to the symposium in Amsterdam, we thought it would be cool to dust off urban sketching and welcome a bunch of students to partake in that course together. So if you're interested in starting with other students on Monday the 22nd, check out the schoolyard. We have a featured post and a group for urban sketching. So if you join the group, you can sign up to get updates about that course starting officially on Monday for students that want to work together. So if you're interested in the community experience, check that out in the urban sketching group in the schoolyard. And I meant to show you the course poster that we have updated and made fancier, and I failed to turn that image on, but here it is. So this is for urban sketching, which we're really excited to dive back into. In terms of questions and ideas that came up in the schoolyard this week, Kosha has been reflecting, and all of us on the team have been reflecting on the color pencil course that just wrapped up and ended. And Kosha's been asking some really great questions, about student experiences in that course. So if you took color pencils with us and had a really good time in the course, we're really interested in hearing more about what you thought about it. So check out Kosha's questions in the schoolyard. She's been sharing them in the colored pencil group, and we also have some featured in the featured post area. So check that out and tell us what you thought about it. Another question that seems to pop up in the schoolyard pretty frequently is lots of students will go through a course like How to Draw Without Talent, which is one of our basic introduction courses. And once they complete that, they feel equipped with confidence and drawing skills, for some people for the first time in their lives. And students will ask us, what course should I take next? And we think that the best person to answer this kind of question is other students, people in our community that are taking our courses every single day. So one of our students, Alejandro, wrote in the group about what course he should take next. And a lot of students recommended beginning, which I think is an awesome suggestion. And if any of you have suggestions for Alejandro about the best next course that he might take, check out his question in the schoolyard about course offerings and see if you have any advice for him. Now, in the area of student projects, one thing that I want to highlight this week, and I'm going to start doing this every week, is I just want to mention a top contributor in the schoolyard for the week. So this is just someone that posts a lot, comments on a lot of artwork, and is generally just really encouraging and is really helpful in helping us make the schoolyard an exciting place to be. So I wanted to say thank you to Marion Weaver this week. And I have her little avatar there. I just want to say thanks to Marion, who is always encouraging us, always sharing a lot. Oops, sorry. I think I just had a little bit of a glitch on my computer. Sorry about that. But Marion's been a super team player in the schoolyard, and I just want to recognize her and point that out. So Marion, if you're watching this, thank you for your participation in the yard and all of your contributions. And if you can, shoot me an email if you see this message for a little thank you from us here at Sketchbook Skool. Now, back to the scheduled plan. So thanks again to Marion. And another piece of art that I wanted to share from the schoolyard that I found so funny was actually created by Carol Quinn. And Carol posted this drawing that sort of looked like a passive-aggressive note to a family member. And I think we all have those times in our households where we would like to say something to a family member or ask them a question. And in this case, Carol is asking her children, why are these dirty clothes on the floor? And I think this is hilarious. I think it's a funny way to kind of cope with maybe the messes that pop up around you. So Carol, thank you for sharing this laugh with us. I think it's a great way to communicate calmly with your children, as you say in your post. Another student that shared a really delicious drawing in the schoolyard this week was Michelle Marquez, and she shared this juicy drawing of some heirloom tomatoes that she got from a friend. And the reason I'm sharing this is because, honestly, I'm missing having a garden of my own, and I think it's a fun way to document, the season's produce and maybe things that are being given to you by your friends. So, Michelle, thanks for sharing this juicy tomato drawing. I'm so excited to have a garden. I'm actually moving in the next month, so next year I will have an updated garden and I'll be able to document, my own produce with drawing. So I love seeing that. And another student that did just a really simple everyday drawing in the schoolyard this week that really stood out to me was actually from Kimberly Gilmette. And she did a really basic contour line drawing with a non-waterproof pen. And hey Gail, I just saw you pop in. Thanks for joining us. And I love this drawing that Kimberly shared because she did something so basic that we all do every day, just a contour line drawing. And she added some water and a little bit of color to it. And knowing that her pen was not waterproof, kind of ended up creating a little watercolor sketch out of it. And I just love the idea that you can do something so simple that you do every day. And if you tweak one little part of it, it kind of takes on a new look and becomes a new exploration. So thank you, Kimberly, for sharing a really simple drawing, of a grapevine that's taking over your porch, but for adding just a little bit of a different mood to it by just adding water, which is a really simple tweak to make. So thanks, Kimberly, for sharing that. And I want to talk about meetups now. So next week, a lot of students are going to be attending the Urban Sketchers Symposium in Amsterdam. Hey, Sue, thanks for joining. It sounds like she's gassing up at an RV truck stop, so she's on the road, which is awesome, Sue, that you're tuning in from on the road. But I want to point out that there are going to be a couple student-led meetups happening at the symposium in Amsterdam. So if you're attending Urban Sketchers, if you're lucky enough to be trekking over to Amsterdam next week, definitely check out the events tab in the schoolyard because a lot of students have shared events there that they're going to be hosting, little meetups of Sketchbook Skool students on the ground in Amsterdam. And for those of us that can't travel to Amsterdam, which is very sad, but some of us are going to be home, in our home states, home countries, going about our daily business. We're going to have a little virtual meetup actually on Tuesday in the chat room in the schoolyard. So we're going to gather at 11 Eastern in the schoolyard chat room on Tuesday this coming week. And there's a post about this in the schoolyard if you check out the featured posts in the event tab. But we're going to meet to draw and share some virtual art with each other for those of us that can't be there in Amsterdam with our friends. So check that out in the events tab in the schoolyard, and hopefully we'll see you in the live chat, the chat room, sharing your art next week. A couple other meetups that I just want to highlight briefly is our NorCal Sketchbook Buddies are going to be getting together in Vacaville at Journey Coffee. That's on the 20th at 10 a.m. Pacific. And our friends in Maine are going to be gathering, Southern Maine specifically, are going to be gathering with Sherry Andre on the 25th at the Pineland Farms at the garden there at 9:30 a.m. So if you're in Southern Maine, check this out. Sherry Andre and friends are going to be meeting. Oh, and it's a bummer to hear Gail got her eyes dilated. Sorry to hear that, Gail, but we're so glad that you can listen in. Take care of yourself. But these are the next couple meetups that are happening in our community soon. And as I said, there's a lot going on at the Urban Sketchers Symposium, including a party that Danny and Kosha are hosting for Sketchbook Skool students. So if you're in the schoolyard, check out the events tab there because there's a lot going on and a lot of things to keep track of. And I could talk for another hour about all the events happening next week. So check that out in the schoolyard, and thank you everyone for joining and tuning in. And I hope that you have an awesome Friday wherever you are and a super creative and exciting weekend. So thanks again, and have a great day.